I'm still in a Nosferatu frame of mind, mainly because people keep posting about whether or not he's Dracula and whether or not he should have a moustache. But it's kept old Count Orlok at the forefront of my noggin. And so when I was down at my local game shop today, and I was just looking for a new project to do, actually, I was just going to have this, right? But I had time to kill before catching the train back. So I was looking through the Games Workshop's things and I come across this. Now, they have a slogan at Games Workshop, you know, new year, new army. Now, I wasn't intending to start a new army. I mean, I've barely started on my Seraphon. I've still got miles to go on my Sylvaneth. But I do like me a bit of undead. And she certainly is. By the way, her name is, well, you already know this, Lady Annika. All right. She's one of the Soulblight Gravelords. Games Workshop, you always do this. Soulblight Gravelords. This is their copyright thing, isn't it? You can't call them vampires because they can't copyright the word vampire. So everything's got to have a daft name now. But yeah, basically, Soulblight Gravelords is an army of vampires. Vampire soldiers, vampire cavalry, you know, and it's pretty nifty, you know. So, and she looks great. This is a great sculpture. So I was umming and ahhing, and I ahed, and yeah, and I got her. So I think I might start for 2025 a undead army, all right? For 25, 30 years, the only Warhammer figures I ever bought and painted and played was Nurgle, and they are a really horrible, rotten faction. But here we go with proper vampires. I like this pose. The sculpture is excellent. And you get two options. You get her with a bat arm, or you get her with a human arm and this mask, which is nifty, but I much prefer this one. All right. Later on in this video, I'll explain more why. So I'm just going to pause it, get the cellophane off and see what we've got inside. All right, well, it looks like we've got a tray, which isn't something I was expecting in a small single figure. Yeah, that's your lot. Lady Annika. Right. Well, I didn't think it'd be more than one sprue. Annika. Oh, blimey. She's in there well. It's like trying to get her out of coffin. There we go. So there she is. Oh, that must be the back of her cloak's hood thing. But she's got, oh yeah, and that's the fur bit. Oh, that's nifty. So she's got fur on the top side, but the underside, this is what I like about Games Workshop. You're never ever going to look underneath, but there is detail under there. All right, there's her head. She's got a touch of the old Cruella de Vil's about her. There she is. With her hollow mouth. Can you see that? Yeah. So there must be a jaw with a tongue. Leg, mask. Where's the bat hand? That's nifty as well. So, looks nice and simple to do. She has a much longer base than normal because of that cloak. And I was looking at this on the train ride home, and I'm pretty sure I know what to do colour-wise. I am not doing her in green. I'm going to have it that my whole army has a red colour motif to it. All right, so I'm thinking red where you see green, where you see purple, there will be black, regular fur colour for the collar, undead skin, obviously, but I don't know about the hair. I'll think about that as I snip away. So what do I need to snip away? all these pages are just the rules, but in different languages. Yeah, that one is still... Oh, there's the English one. All right. She's only got one melee weapon. She has something about she can pop up anywhere you like on the almost said dance floor then, on the battlefield. But 2-part cloak, fair enough. 1 leg, 2-part torso, fur ruff, head, arm, an arm. Gives you that. All right, so it shouldn't take long to do, so I'll come back with her all put together. Well, there she is all assembled. Exquisite detail, very fine detail, equals bloody fiddly to hold on to the parts to stick her together. But stuck together she is, and she's in on her base. I've used blue tack for the arms because it's a bit tight between the hand and the robes, and her left vampire bat arm goes across her body more than this, and I wouldn't be able to get to her bodies easily. So that blue tacked in place right up until priming, and then I'm taking them off. Okay, so primed in Wraithbone. You can really see the lovely detail. I've taken the left arm off. All right, so this is going to be another one. I've just been doing some Star Wars Shatterpoint figures, and normally I do the skin tones and then the clothes, but the skin area is so small that I think I'm going to do the clothes first. And then the last thing will be the skin and the hair. All right. I've decided what I'm going to do with this new army is they're going to have a predominantly red colour, which is a colour I don't really use on any of my Games Workshop figures. To me, red is really Khorne, the Chaos Khorne figures, which I've never liked, or Blood Angels. So this is going to be interesting to do red. So this bit, which is green on her, is going to be red. This colour that is purple, I'm gonna do green, but I'm going to do a green that's not really a green, if you see what I mean, because I don't like red and green together. It always reminds me of Christmas, all right? I was going to do a purple, red and purple, but I'm thinking red and purple together are going to be too close. And anyway, I'm thinking of purple for the hair, all right? So I think I'm going to be using a Killian green, I think is what it's called. So first job is to paint this. She's got like thigh-high boot. So I'm going to be painting that first. But before I can paint that, I've got to paint inside. You've got to get to the back. All right. So I've got to get in there first, then the boot, then the green, then the red, then the fur, then the skin, then the hair. All right. But I'll come back once I've done the green. All right. So kind of happy with how that's gone. That is, where is it? Yeah, you pronounce that. I'm not going to try it. For the inner robes, washed with a blue at the bottom. And this is Mephiston red. All right, because as I say, predominantly red, this army. So that's a nice mid-red. I'm going to darken it down now. I've got to go through my contrast paints and find a decent one that will do. Okay, with her robes, over that Mephiston red, I put on a wash of Berserker Bloodshade, which I just happen to have because I'm in the process of doing this brain for a Patreon project. All right, so I needed a dark red, and that's coming along all right. So little sneak peek about what I'm up to on Patreon. So yeah, I washed it with that, and then it was just a case of dry brushing with the Mephiston Red, then Evil Sun Scarlet, then highlighting the raised areas with Astaroth Red. All right, and I've now gone in, as you can see, I've done a fur collar. I've done the back of it a purple, quite a vibrant purple, because that looks like solid to me. And the fur, I've used, what's it called? I can never remember any of their names. Agaros Dunes, which is a contrast, and it looks a bit light. So I'm going in and I'm going to be darkening and feathering it up. And basically, I'm emulating this sort of a thing. All right, but I'm not going to be going up to the white of that. So it's coming along, enjoying it. And once I've done that collar, I can then, it's a case of doing this trim, which I thought was hair, but looking at it, it's not. It's some sort of fabric. And I'm going to do that the same as her skirt, same sort of fabric. Then do her face and arms, which I'm really looking forward to. Then finishing off the hair, then her sword, and we're going to be done. Okay, skin tone time. All right, and my inspiration for my my vampires is going to be this chap. Okay, Count Orlok 22 version, not the latest one and not the 79, but 22. And of course, that's a black and white film. But this this cover from the latest edition of Little Shop of Horrors is really smart, and so I'm going to take inspiration from that. All right. The other inspiration for the way I see my vampire army is from Kim Newman's vampire books, especially Anno Dracula, in which Count Orlok makes a guest appearance as the guardian of the Tower of London. So yeah, really good read. Highly recommend that. So that's what I'm going to go for. So Annika here, I'm going to wash her eye sockets with a crimson, same as her mouth. I'm umming and ahhing about what to do about the colour of the eyes, either black or white. And here's the wing, and that shows you what I'm doing colour-wise, which is her skin. I've done pallid witch flesh, and I've decided for tinting it, I'm going to use Dreadful Visage, which goes on, as you can see, it doesn't go on as dark as that, but it is this really nice purpley colour, right? And I'm doing it for her because it's quite a nice subtle shade to the skin. All right. I think on the male or more monstrous or more brutal characters, I'm going to be using this, which is Targor Rage Shade, which is like a darker version of that. And I'm going to be using this now on the membranes on the wing hand thing. And the other thing I've got to do, you can see on her bodies, I've picked that out in brown. That's because I'm going to put gold over the top. And also I've done that for the hilt of her sword. And her sword I've put lead belcher, and I'm going to highlight that with silver because I'm going to put black over that because that's going to be like an ebony blade. All right. So we're not far off finishing, really. Right, I think this is the last part before the end. I'm pretty happy with the face as is. All I did was put some Caribou Crimson in her eye sockets and mouth, which has worked, and her eyes are almost completely shut. So I'm gonna keep her like that. I'm not gonna balls it up by trying to put pupils in such a tiny area. So I'm happy with that. I've put a black contrast for her hair. I've just got to highlight that, but it's looking very stark, the join between her flesh and her hair. So I'm going to put some of this darker contrast that I've put in the webbing just along the edge at the join between skin and hair, and try and mottle that a bit, just so it's not just such a stark, hard line. Of course, I've got to paint her left sleeve to blend in with the rest of the, with the rest of the red. I've picked out her sword. I've put a black contrast over the silver, so I've just got to gloss that. And yeah, then just deal with the scatter material, and we'll be done. And that's Lady Annika done. Very happy with how she came out, and it's given me a taste and the impetus to continue and do a new Soulblight Gravelord army. Really fun build, just a single figure, and very quick, because really the only two proper colours were the red for the cloak and the basic skin tone. The rest is all contrast paints, so it's been nice and fast. All right, and I'm very pleased how she's come out. And one of the things I like, I don't know much about the Soulblight Gravelords because I haven't got the book. I don't know much of the lore. All I really know is basically the vampires consider themselves the elite. They're like massive snobs, and anyone who isn't a vampire is a peasant, right? So you have this side of the army, the vampires in all their finery, and then you have the plebs, because basically they bring in factions of the undead to fight for them or with them. All right, and I like the idea of the contrast of having the vampires such as she looking one way, and the undead who have been dug up and resurrected to do their fighting will be a completely different look, different colour palette, different weathering, and a whole different deal. And with her done, I can move on to my next one, and I never want to do things the same each time. So with her done, that's the first of my toffs finished, right? And so my next one I'm going to do is these, the death rattle skeletons, because these are going to be freshly dug up. I'm looking forward to the ickiness of them, the griminess of them, the dirtiness of them. And so yeah, stay tuned, because I'm cracking this bad boy open and getting started, well, in about 2 minutes.